Work Wardrobe 2026 sewing tops are designed for my Pear shape. So this year today is May 2nd, 2026, and for the first quarter of the year I sew some top, keep improving my sleeveless top for my work wardrobe. So I like to have some basics in my wardrobe that I can wear, like this one for instance. I put a cardigan on top of it, I can layer it. So I'm trying to sew some sleeveless top, but designing self-drafting pattern for it, and I keep improving it, and I went through multiple revisions. So I designed 7 patterns. I don't have all of them here, but I know that pattern 5 was not good, and at this point I don't even know which one of them was pattern 5, but pattern 5 was not good. What was not good about it? Yeah, well, it does not look good. That's what I put on it. It does not look good. So, but that was this, and I tried to use a sewing book to learn a few things in it and design it, but I just didn't, it didn't work. So this one is pattern 6, and pattern 6 I put not good on it. So yeah, I didn't put the reason, but I put not good on this one, and technically it should tell me the fabric I sew with it. Sailor stripe, red and black. So we should be able to see the one that, and that will be this top here for it. So I didn't, something about the pattern that I think it need improvement. So I said not good for it. And then we have that one is pattern 6, this is pattern 5, and this one is red and white polka dots, Kelly green bias. That would be this one. So that would be this one. So I said not good on that as well, but they all fit me and I wear them. And this one I'm going to give it to one of my daughter. She does not like the ties on her top, so I think I'm going to cut the top. I'm going to cut it and just move it in and hang, stitch it against it like this inside. That way it will be without the ties, and I think it should be fine like this, and that will fit her. So, and this is the pattern that I use to design this one, and I didn't like the pattern. So those two are the pattern that didn't work, and this one is pattern 5. That is the 5th one. So this is pattern trap, and all of them I'm using 100% cotton and cotton print. You can say quilting cotton if you want, but yeah, cotton print fabrics, 140 GSM. And those two, their pattern, I say I don't care much for it. So there is this one that I think will be pattern 2. I don't have it here, so chances are it is eliminated, and I wore it as well a few times, but I think I'm going to give it to my daughter as well. And I have an issue with the cord is unraveling, so I'm going to cut it as well and just sew it in. That way it won't have the this, and then I can give it to my daughter. So this one I wear it as well. I wear them all, but I put those two at the side so that I can cut those off of it and give it to my daughter. So I think this is pattern 2. I don't know the top for pattern 1, but I have 2 more here that they are from the laundry bag, so they are not clean, but this is another pattern. I don't know which one is it, but this is one of the pattern that is perfect. And let me hold it one at a time for you to see it. So I like this pattern, and this is, and I think it's pattern 3, and I don't know which one is this, probably pattern 4, and in fact this is pattern 3 modified, the same thing as pattern 3, but I think the difference is I try to sew the inside a little bit because I'm having a gap at the neckline, and I sew this one after I sew this one, and I just make a bust pleat or sew inside there. And what I don't like about it, even though it creates a interesting design, it shifts the armhole a little bit inward at the back, so this can move a little bit in here. I don't like that, but other than that was the only issue, and I don't think I designed a pattern for it. It was just that same pattern 3 that I tried to do this way, and I didn't like it. So I have 2 patterns here that I like, and pattern 3, yes, pattern 3 was the aqua blue, and I really like this one. This pattern, and is a keeper, and that is this pattern. So it took 7 patterns to get to 2 that I like, and it's going to have a gap at the neckline, but I think is fine. So the difference between this pattern and pattern 7, for some reason I'm not seeing the top. That is pattern 7. But pattern 7, I like it as well. It is the winner, and the difference between pattern 3 and pattern 7 is I raise the neckline at the back. So when I'm in my journey of self-designing my own sleeveless top pattern, as I'm working on it, I saw it, I'm seeing few issues. So one of the issue was that there was a gap at the neckline. Another issue that it was a gap at the armhole, and I saw another, I think it might be pattern 1, and for pattern 2 it was just a repeat of pattern 1, but I tried to put a little dot there by sewing that excess in, and I didn't like it. It became a little bit tight for me, so therefore I think that gap can be ignored. So that was one issue that I tried to fix in pattern 2, and and I didn't like it. So then I tried pattern 3. So pattern 2, I ignore those issues, and I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think, yeah, but so then I try to focus on the neckline. So by it, because there are different areas of those garment, you can tackle one issue at a time, so that when you come to a solution, you know what the solution is. At least that's what I'm trying to do. So I focus on the neckline because it was one thing that I was trying to fix. So, and by trying to read other books, and they all have different, the thing is it's not one way to draft a pattern. So there is different, people are doing a different way. So I read multiple books and trying to, you know, pull things from a one book, try to tilt the back a little bit, even though you are not going to have a line at the back. You try to tilt the back a little bit, and I think I applied for pattern 3 or pattern 4 or even 5, but I forgot when I was doing this. It was in my mind, but I forgot it. I think pattern 6 will have it, but the back is a little bit oblique, and I think it can help with that gap at the here. Since we are not straight, I think is why is there. But anyway, so I try to implement that, but I cannot really say it really make that much change. I still have a little gap here. So another book, I noticed that their pattern, they are raising the back neckline. So I raised the back neckline for it, and I noticed that the gap decreased considerably. So I know that was the issue, that instead of lowering the back, I tend to do the back like 0.6 when I'm designing the neckline at the back, and but now I'm raising, yeah, pretty much I'm raising it, and it solved the issue. So that is pattern 7 make difference. I think another issue that I fixed here was I raised the, because I don't wear bra or under my clothing, I wear a cami and then wear my top. I think over time, using my full bust, my, yeah, for measurement, I lower it over time, and then I try to raise it back. So pattern 7, I raise it a little bit from 12 to 11, and the upper bust I shifted up as well. It became 8.5 instead of 9.5 on pattern 3. So I think that was the difference that I made there. But I really like pattern 7, and I don't have it here, but I should be able to put a picture in it when I'm editing the video. So after, it's just to share it with you that you don't get frustrated when you are trying to design your pattern and it's not working. Depending on what you are working on, you might have to do multiple trials. What I try to do though, because those tops are not bad, I wear them, they become my wardrobe. So for that reason, I take my time to sew it, you know, so that I can, not only I'm designing pattern, but I'm working on improving my sewing skill. So I take my time to sew so that things can lay properly. And yeah, so that way therefore I will sew it completely, whether the pattern is good or not. I sew it completely. So those became my work wardrobe. That's what I wear to work. And but then the more I'm wearing it, the more I can see the issue, and I can think of how I can solve it, and then I'll design the next pattern. So, and that's how I noticed that, you know, pattern 3, I really like that top, because by keep wearing those, I will see which one I like, which one I don't. So, and I know that one I like it, and I know that one I saw pattern 7 and I try the issue, it was clear that I was able to fix the issue by raising the neckline. So that one is done as well. So pretty much, and I'm sure there will be plenty of room for improvements on the pattern, but so far I can say that I have sleeveless top pattern for myself that I can use to sew my tops. And again, improvement can be made. For instance, I can learn to include dots. I'm using woven fabric and I'm not sewing dots on them, and I'm cutting them on bias. That's how I'm making them to drape. And because I'm a pear shape, you can see that, you know, by having a top without a peplum, I don't know, that's what I would call it, without cutting the skirts away from the top, I'm having a curve. Like my full bust is 32, and my hip is 42. So you can see there is 10 inches difference there, and my waist is very high, and is my waist is like here, for instance, I have my full bust at 12 and my waist at 15.5 inches from my full bust. Is like 3.5 inches away from my full bust there, and I think the other one, it will be 4.5 inches away from my full bust. So that is how the distance between my full bust and my waist. And my waist is 30 inches. So my waist and my full bust, they are just 2 inches difference between the circumference. So, and my hip is 10 inches wider than my full bust. So that make my waist in because of my hip, if that makes sense. And because I'm flat chested, I opt for having a decoration at the neckline so that I can draw attention to my neckline or my hip and away from my chest. So, and I found having tie, I like having tie, and just to make it a little bit interesting with design, I'm using bias strip from other fabrics to, you know, for the, and I'm exposing those bias strip binding for the neckline and the armhole so that I can incorporate some design to it. So I like to use, because I'm building my wardrobe, but I want them to really work together. And I think, you know, when you are working on a wardrobe, it's good if you can actually pick your colors, whether you bought all those fabric already or not. You can pick the colors that you want to have the wardrobe, you know, you want to have in the wardrobe, so that when you are buying those fabrics, you can reference those colors. That way, when you are sewing things, they can complement that. That makes sense. Even if you don't have all the fabric, that's the way I'm trying to do it now, so that things can work well. I'm picking colors that I like to work with. Like for instance, and I use AI with a picture of mine to determine my color, and AI think I'm fall, I'm Adam, yeah, but anyway, so I know that I have so I'm warm, so maybe, but I'm more drawn to winter colors, vibrant colors. So if I like the color, I'm going to use it to sew, because I'm in that phase of life that I want to wear bold color. I will wear it. I know that at some point I might phase out of it, so therefore I'm okay. Even if he said that I'm old Adam and I like winter colors, vibrant colors, I will go with it. So, and with that in mind, I list down colors that I like to work with, and moving forwards, I like to focus on that. For instance, I wrote burgundy down, and I think burgundy will be more autumn, and I wrote down I know that brown looks good on me, and that will be autumn as well, so I have it down. And I'm thinking about, for my wardrobe, have solid color for my pants and have print at the top. So even though some might recommend to have a monochromatic, like the same fabric for the top and for the bottom, so that we can have multiple variety, I prefer to have my top, my bottom in solid color, and then I can have my top in print. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. And so yes, and for the color, I'm thinking about burgundy, brown, and for print wise, I'm thinking about polka dots, floral, checkers, gigant fabrics, you know, print. So those type of print. And again, for colors, I think I wrote them down here. For color, I like raw, like Royal, Royal, Royal. Like French they say Royal, but anyway, I don't know. So Royal color, you know, is a winter color, and navy will be autumn, but I don't know how I feel about navy. So and so that's that for blue, and for green I leave, and it's still blue or green. I think it can go both ways, right? It's somewhere there. So and for red burgundy, but again I like this, it'll be more winter, it's vibrant. So but things like that. And coral, I use coral, and I think I use coral, that would be this color that I use here, and I think they work well. And this is aqua, I like aqua, and I just, yeah, I hold it down. So aqua fabric, and I think aqua will be more spring, or I would think so, but I don't know if that's winter or spring. I think that'll be spring, but anyway, I like it, and it goes well with aqua. So pretty much try, and this is aqua as well with coral. So I like to pair them like this, but I think like if I chose those colors in the blue, the colors that I want, I put royal, aqua, navy, and in the green I put mustard, olive. I don't know so much about mustard though, but I like vivid green. So, and I think there is another green that I didn't put down, and the yellow I put bone, but I don't know if this is brown or yellow, but you know, find a type of yellow that can work. And then for red burgundy, wine, and pink we can go with coral, and brown we have sand, khaki, copper, brown. Interestingly, there is so many colors in the brown that are kind of interesting, and maybe I'm autumn after all. So rose, wheat, golden brandy, mocha, and then orange I put pumpkin. I think I say pumpkin color for orange is more autumn, so I put those down. And the way I'm viewing it is, well, I like to contrasting. So with the blue, the contrasting color will be orange, I think. So you know, knowing colors in the orange that can go with my blues and have it down, and the green and red, they are contrasting color. So knowing, for instance, burgundy is a kind of dark one, so I can have my dark color, solid color for the bottom, and having a burgundy bottom, I can have a type of green at the top, like olive, I don't know, and thankfully olive with something designed. So pretty much the way I'm trying to do it, if I have points pattern, I can use a solid color for the top. So, and if I have a sleeveless like this, I can layer it. So I'm trying to work on those by learning as well, all those colors, how they can work together is new to me, frankly. And I'm designing my pattern, but at the same time I had to learn about colors to see how I can pick colors for my wardrobe. And when I'm shopping fabric, I can focus on those colors so that when I buy them, I have them. And I'm picking fabric to sew, I can, you know, I can work strategically. I'm not going to sew everything all at once, but when I sew something, I know that it can work with the others because I intentionally pick those fabrics as I'm buying it throughout, focusing on those colors so that they can work together. That is the things that I'm thinking about. So, and for this one, I have, in addition to this, I have 2 colors, and this is 3. So the type of things like that, you know. And this one I already contrasted here. This one work well with the red, and I have those. So pretty much trying to use complementary colors in my wardrobe design is what I'm focusing on. But then having those colors, I'll be able to do analogous or triad or things like that. So I'm working with, you know, blue, green. Those are my favorite colors: blue, green, and red, and pink, and brown. So I think it's going to be blue, green, brown, solid there, and then red added to it, and some orange and pink, so that every one of those cold colors can have their complementary colors in the wardrobe. That is the idea behind it, but just work on it progressively and keep improving. So therefore, not buying everything at once, but slowly improving. Each time I'm buying a new fabric, I will take that in mind. So that is the way I'm going about it. And when it comes to the fabric, I'm thinking about focusing on 100% cotton, broadcloth, poplin. Those will be my main to, you know, my main to go to. And then for my top and for the bottom, I'm thinking about twill, corduroy, and for my kid as well, flannel. But I'm thinking about sewing cardigan, so, you know, or jacket, because at the office it can be cold. So having sleeveless top, I wear cardigan on top of it. But those cardigan, I purchased them, they're 100% polyester. But when I'm out of them, they are not functional anymore. I like to be able to have my jacket. So I'm thinking about sewing jacket like cardigan style to have, and that's something I will design that I can wear on my sleeveless. And long sleeve top will be the next one that I will work on. I saw one last year or 2 years ago, and I will revise the pattern for it so that I can sew my long sleeve. And for the long sleeve, I will sew vest. So I will work on vest pattern so that I can wear it, you know, with my long sleeve coming out of it. So those are the pieces that I'm trying to design a pattern for my wardrobe. And of course, those will be the top and the bottom. I have the pants pattern already that works for me, and of course it has room for improvement as well, to see if there is a way I can improve it. But for now, at least one pant pattern is working for me. So, and yeah, and we will just, yeah, see, you know, but just focus on few fabric to work with. And I noticed that quilting cotton tend to have a lot of points design. If that's what I will use for my top, I will use that, because they tend to have a lot of design, and I can find my design. But I'm narrowing down those design to that I feel like I like the polka dot. So the polka dot is going to be a good one. But even those, I kind of like those simple design. I don't know what they are called, but I like them. And having them a different color like that, it just give me an option to have multiple ways, multiple bottom they can go with. And of course, I will have a skirt as well. But you know, just a little by little working on those patterns. So far, the sleeveless top is a winner. So now I will work on long sleeve top so that I can improve it. And I'm thinking for the cardigan, I can use those fabric I will use for my bottom, use it for the cardigan. And flannel is included as well. Not necessarily flannel pant for myself, for the kids, yes, and for my top, yes, as well, just to keep me warm. But we will see about that. So that is how I'm thinking about, you know, I can show it to you, having, I don't know if it'll be, you know, having a draft like this that you can reference, have something like that for yourself. You are trying to create a wardrobe for yourself, have a design like this, just write things down that you can reference and improve upon on different things that you wanted to include in your wardrobe, and just go from there. So but yeah, that is the goal for what I'm doing color wise, so that I can improve as I'm designing pattern and I'm sewing. I can have a cohesive pieces in my wardrobe, so that when I grab something, I grab bottom and top, they work together, whether they are complementary, analogous, or triad or tetrad, they work together. So that is the goal. So thank you so much for watching. And yes, so 7 pattern, chances are I have 7 top, and I must give I think I gave 2 already to the kids, and I have 2 more here that I'm going to give them. And this year I made this improvement to 2 years old pattern that I drafted, and so I made this improvement by opening more the armhole and neckline to trim it with an exposed strip like this. So but yeah, those are things that I work on, and I noticed that sewing soothed me. I found it soothing, and I'm thinking about making more a routine out of it, so that like during the week, in the evening, I can draw the pattern, another evening I can cut it, and another evening also I can just spread it out and work on it little by little. It's not the end result, but the process is soothing, and I don't want to have a lot of clothing necessarily. But sewing is soothing for me, is relaxing, is so I think it's good for my mental health, and I just feel like I'm going to go about it slowly. And when I'm recording my sewing content, I mean having record the sewing process for that reason, because for pattern 7, when I was sewing it, what I did is I sew with the machine things that needs to be connected, and when I pin iron, and when I pin and iron, or iron and pin, I use hand needle to hand sew or base all the different areas, so that another time I sew it on the machine. So I just feel like use it as a healing process, use it as a soothing process. I'm very analytical, and working, like when I feel overwhelmed from work or things like that, sewing few, maybe 30 minutes a day at the end of the day before bedtime, I found it soothing. I wanted to make a routine out of it, so I can do those things in stages, and while the kids are around playing, I can just hand sew, areas that I pin, so that I can take the pin out of the way, instead of trying to sew a little bit on the machine, take the pin out, sew a little bit, take the pin out. After I pin, I can just use hand sewing, because I know that before that in the past I like to hand sew than sewing with machine. So if I wanted to fix something that is torn, a cloth that is torn, I'll prefer to hand sew it than sewing it with machine. I know that about myself in the past, because I know that I like to hand sew. So that way I can just base. When that idea came to my mind though, I was thinking it can improve my sewing skill. Maybe the pins on my way may not allow me to sew straight, but I didn't think if it changed much, because when I base and I'm trying to sew, I sew fast, so I don't think it really improved my sewing there, making it straighter. But I will work on that. I just feel like when I hand base and take the pins out, when I'm going to sew under the machine, I can sew better without having to interrupt and take those pins out. So therefore I like to incorporate my hand sewing in it. It will stretch my sewing process of one garment, but it is okay, because it's the process I'm enjoying. I'm using it to soothe myself, to relax my brain, by using another side of my brain, my artistic side of the brain. So yeah, that's what sewing is doing for me. And I don't know at this stage of my life if that has anything to do. I'm 48, I'm getting into a premenopause stage, so I'm feeling overwhelmed very quickly with things, and I think it's more about me than others around me. So therefore, those things that I'm finding helpful, I'm trying to pay attention to them. And when I notice that sewing garments, I'm finding it soothing, I feel like, well, I can try to see if I can include it in my weekly routine or daily routine or few times a week routine, you know. So instead of just wait to do it in the weekend or wait months to do it again, because that's how I do it for the kids. When I'm sewing their school clothes, I won't sew for months, and then all of a sudden at the end of the summer I'll feel overwhelmed because I have 15 outfits to sew for 3 kids. So and I've, yeah, so like 5 top, 5 bottom, that's 10 times 3, that's 30 to sew within a month for two kids while I'm designing the pattern. So I found it very overwhelming around fall, and I like to stretch it over the year, and just so maybe 1 outfit a person a month or things like that, or 3 outfits or 4 outfits for 4 people, me and the kids included, a month or not, and just keep working on it slowly and just make a routine out of it. That's something I will explore more to see how it help with relaxing my brain, if that makes sense. So I don't have a hobby, I like to say to myself, but I think sewing clothes can be a hobby for me. But I'm trying to see how I can do it without spending too much money. So it's not about the finished product, but stretch out the process so that it is enjoyable. I can enjoy the process and then the end result as well, and keep improving the pattern. And I like to create content out of my sewing, but I like to see the middle ground somewhere that I will be able to do that. So thank you so much for watching. I'm on my journey sewing my own wardrobe, and I'm working on it. So far we just have our sleeveless top done, and I'm glad with that. But we are in May now. I like to work on my long sleeve, and now that I have the sleeveless top, I'll be able to apply the same principle to design the kids, because again, I need to start getting ready for their school year, next school year outfits. And I will work on my long sleeve first, because I feel like when I sew for myself and I'm wearing it, I can find the issue and think about how to solve it. But when I sew to the kids, they will tell me how they feel about it, but I feel like I don't get enough feedback that I can use to improve the pattern unless I see the issue myself on them while they wear it. So I just feel like I can improve the pattern more if I sew for myself and wear it. Until I get the pattern good for me, I can apply the same principle to the kid. So I will work on my long sleeve top next. So thank you so much for your time. Do you sew for yourself? How do you create your own wardrobe? And is it a work wardrobe you sew for, or a travel wardrobe? Will you please share your take on that with us? And if you have any advice for me, will you please share that as well? So thank you so much for your time. I'm Afiavi Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting LLC YouTube channel, and in soap.com, our blog. On our channel and on our blog, we share different ways to save money and different ways to make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer or a job to provide for your basic need. And sewing your own clothes could be a way to save money, or a skills you can monetize, you can make money with. That is the goal for me. But I'm finding that is is helping me overcome overwhelm at the end of the week or at the end of the day, because sometimes I crave it. I crave sewing, and then I will sew a little bit and I'll find it soothing, and it'll be soothing for a while, and I can go weeks without sewing and without feeling the need to sew or the desire to sew. And now that I'm growing outside, I'm growing garden outside, my focus is shifting toward there. But I like to continue making sewing a routine so that I can get the kids next school year outfit ready, so that I won't have too much to work on and in a short period of time. So but a little by little, some of them, they are getting to that stage that they are now outgrowing their clothes too fast. I would say that would be the oldest one. I saw some cami for her last year, and I think those cami should be okay. But my middle one, there are some top that she outgrew already, so I need to sew her. And the youngest one top, and my oldest one, I need to sew her bottom, like pants, because some pants are shorter for her. So for overall, I need to sew for all of them, and I like to start working on it, because I will go to multiple trials for the pattern before I'll get a top pattern. Those three, in fact, the two girls, they have different body shape, so I will have to, hopefully I won't have to do multiple trials before I'll get it ready for them. So, but again, it's a learning process, and I like to just enjoy the journey so that I make it easy on myself. So thank you so much for your time. Happy sewing.